What is up, guys? Rick Cacus here, and today we are going to be discussing some Destiny 2 news and information. Now, yesterday, something absolutely massive happened, and that was a Destiny 2 guidebook was released early. It was leaked, and it unveiled just so much information. I've already done 2 videos on key points of this leak. Firstly, we now know all of the subclass perks in the 3 Taken King subclasses: the Night Stalker Hunter, the Stormcaller Warlock, and the Sunbreaker Titan. I would definitely urge you guys to check that out if you want to. It'll help you decide what class to pick. Also, a ton, over 20 exotics. The information for those came out as well. Done a video on that if you guys want to check it out. It's linked right above you. But today we're going to discuss the odds and ends. Other information that I didn't cover yesterday, but important information nonetheless. However, we're not going to be discussing all information. I've specifically left out big storyline spoilers. I feel like no one really needs that. I'm sure most of you guys watching want to play and enjoy the story without getting it spoiled, so we're just talking about like very specific informational type Destiny 2 news. And speaking of very straightforward information, it has now been officially announced by Luke Smith, the lead designer behind Destiny 2, on Twitter, the dates for the upcoming Destiny 2 raid and for the upcoming Destiny 2 Trials game mode. It's going to be Trials of the 9, but Luke Smith just refers to it as Trials. The tweet states that the raid will launch at 10 a.m. Pacific on September 13th. Trials arrives at 10 a.m. Pacific, September 15th. So there you have it, the dates for the upcoming raid and Trials game mode. And the first thing we need to talk about is how close these dates are to the release date of September 6th. A lot of people that I've seen have been somewhat unhappy that these dates are, firstly, so close together. The raid and Trials happening the exact same week is a lot for players to handle. And again, they're very close to that release date. People with jobs, people going to school are going to have a hard time getting raid ready in the first week, more or less. However, in fairness to Bungie, firstly, this is exactly in line with what happened in Destiny 1. The Vault of Glass came out exactly 1 week after the game launched. And secondly, with Infusion being introduced into the game and going to be presumably the same method to level up in Destiny 2, it's a lot easier than when Destiny 1 originally launched. Destiny 1, you could only get up to a certain light level. You couldn't even get up to the actual level that the raid enemies were at. The only way to get up to those higher levels was to get raid gear. So you were hugely disadvantaged the first time when you did the raid. But presumably, in Destiny 2, you can get to the max level solo just like you could in Destiny 1. So that is definitely going to make leveling a lot easier, and that's going to make this rather close date a lot more kind of forgiving than it was in the original Destiny. Trials and the raid the same week, however, I think that's a bad idea. I would much rather have Trials the week after. Alright, now moving on from there, I'm sure a lot of you guys watching assumed that our boy XUR would be returning in Destiny 2, and no surprise, he is. However, there is a surprise for exactly how he's going to function in Destiny 2. As you can see here from the leaked information yesterday, XUR is a strange vendor who randomly appears in a public sector in each of the 4 worlds, depending on planetary alignments and Bungie's whim. XUR sells exotic equipment and only takes legendary shards in exchange for them. So 2 big takeaways. Firstly, and just as something I would have never guessed in a million years, XUR, and as you can see from the picture, randomly appears in patrol mode areas. So every weekend we're gonna have to legit track XUR down. He's not just gonna be somewhere in the farm. He's going to be somewhere in the entire 4 worlds. Maybe he's on Nessus, maybe he's on Io, and that's gonna make those videos that track down XUR, where is XUR this weekend, those are gonna get a lot more interesting. So that is definitely a very, very different feature that XUR has in Destiny 2. Now the second part of that X script was that XUR only takes legendary shards. So it seems like strange coins are a thing of the past, and now we have legendary shards. So how exactly do you get legendary shards in Destiny 2? Well, we actually know that again from yesterday's leak. Here is an image of the gear rarities in Destiny 2. No real surprises here, but over in the right hand corner you can see the actual things you get for dismantling the different rarities of gear. And you can see for legendary gear and for exotic gear you get legendary shards. So there you have it. Presumably there'll be other ways to get them, but one of the ways, probably the main way you get legendary shards, is from dismantling legendary and exotic equipment. And frankly, I quite like that. The first couple of weeks of XUR in Destiny 1 was pretty touch and go. A lot of people had very limited strange coins. The only way to get them was to do the weekly strike, which is a thing of the past now, and that awarded strange coins. So a lot of people weren't geared up enough to do that. They were pretty hard at the time, and so you had people, the second week XUR came, he was offering the Galahorn, and a lot of people, this is embarrassing, but including myself, thought that, well, it's a heavy weapon. How often are you going to use a heavy weapon? I'm gonna save my strange coins for an exotic primary weapon or a secondary weapon. Big mistake. Huge mistake. Never, if I see XUR selling an exotic power weapon the second week of Destiny 2, I'm buying it 100%. I'm not making that same mistake twice. But in any event, seriously, the fact that you can just dismantle your legendaries and get the same actual currency that XUR needs to buy exotics is a huge benefit for players being more readily able to afford his gear, especially in the first few weeks. Alright guys, so that is it for the spoiler-free Destiny 2 news today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. And if you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.